What up guys, Reckless Fox here, and welcome to a new episode of Reckless Talk, where I spill the beans on recent news from the world of video games, comic book movies and shows, and geek culture just in general. And the game I'm getting torn apart in more than Chris Benoit's name is Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, which was re-released on PS4 last year and Xbox One and Steam a couple of months ago. But enough about the game. Recently, there's been sites stating that Marvel's Iron Fist will be getting a Season 2 via reports from Blaster.com, Screen Rant, and comicbookmovie.com. For those of you guys who have seen my Iron Fist review, you know how I felt about the show. Being that Iron Fist is my favorite underrated character in comics, along with Luke Cage, Zatanna, and Etrigan, and Katana, just to name a few, I thought the show didn't deserve the hate and backlash that it got before the show even came out. But I did agree with some of the major critiques. For more on my discussion about Iron Fist, check out the spoiler review that Mr. Godchild15 and myself did a few weeks back. In order for Season 2 of Iron Fist to succeed, there are some major things that the show has to improve on if Marvel wants to see this show no longer be the black sheep of the Netflix universe. With that being said, here are 5 improvements that Iron Fist must get right for Season 2.
Number 1, the writing. I addressed this in my review of Season 1, that the overall problem with Iron Fist was the writing. The writing in the show felt like it was either clunky or just downright cringeworthy throughout the first half of the show up until a certain point. The dialogue feels like I'm watching the first season or the third season of Arrow. Second half of third season, that is. You can clearly tell at this point, Marvel was just Scrooge McDucking the entire time. Because had they put the same time and effort that they did with the writing of Daredevil, Jessica Jones, and Luke Cage, the show Iron Fist itself wouldn't have been as bad as people believed it was. Which is a shame, because when you look at it, the events in Iron Fist is what helps bring the characters Daredevil, Jessica Jones, and Luke Cage together, and have them work together as a team to take down the Hand, which we will clearly see in the Defenders come this August. Hopefully with Season 2 of Iron Fist that changes. Bring in the same writers from the previous 3 shows and have them work on the dialogue. That way I don't feel like I'm watching people bicker about something random. In fact, this helps viewers understand the supporting cast endgame in the long run. Just food for thought. Number 2, fight choreography. Daredevil Season 1 and Season 2 have been praised for its fight choreography, such as the hallway fight scene from Season 1 and the stairway fight scene from Season 2. The fact that Iron Fist couldn't top these 2 off is a tragedy. After all, he's freaking Iron Fist. He has a dozen martial arts styles under his belt. However, the problem with that comes with the miscasting of the character. Instead of casting someone who knows some of these styles like Scott Adkins or Ray Park, Marvel casted Finn Jones, and with that came a lot of editing when it came to the fight scenes. Seriously, watch some of those episodes and you'll see what I mean. It felt like I was watching a CW show with all the heavy editing to make sure the stunt doubles weren't seen. We already know that after Defenders, Danny Rand won't be done with the Hand anytime soon, and there's time to improve fight scenes. I would say for Season 2, have Finn Jones train on set while he's preparing for scenes, or have him go to a boot camp for a few weeks and have him practice with other martial artists. Maybe that boot camp that the cast of Power Rangers in Space went to could help him out. After all, what is really important about Iron Fist overall, aside from storytelling, is getting the fighting right. Number 3, visual backstory. Throughout the first season, viewers are bashed over the head constantly with Danny Rand having flashbacks of his parents dying in a plane crash. Like how Spider-Man reminds us of Uncle Ben dying, or DC reminding us about Batman's parents being shot in front of him every single movie, sequel, prequel, reboot, or crossover event, or whatever. That's fine and all, but what about the origin of the Hand, or the previous generations of Iron Fist that the show foreshadows later in the season? The problem with not having these sort of flashbacks of these 2 is that there is a lot less showing and more telling to quickly get to the next part of the show. Don't get it twisted though. Daredevil suffers the same problem in Season 2. Instead of showing us what the Hand is via illustration or animation, Stick just tells Daredevil about it. Guess the writers really wanted to focus on the Punisher more than anything else in the show. Iron Fist's most effective story elements is the overall lore around Danny Rand, that being Kung Lun, the Hand, and other societies that are in the comic books. Hopefully Doctor Strange does show up at one point. All I'm saying is this, a little illustration or animation won't hurt to give more background on Danny Rand's time in Kung Lun as a growing child, or his relationship with his friend Davos. giving us the viewers a reason to care when they finally fight for realsies next season as Davos becomes the Steel Serpent like in the comic. If there's one thing the show can learn from its other predecessors, its flashbacks at the right time will help impact the story. Number 4, more for the supporting cast. Without the supporting cast of the show, including my boo and my everything, Rosario Dawson, the show would have flopped the dismount horrifically. This goes back to my issues with the writing and dialogue in the show. Without better writing, you're leaving your viewers with no reason to care for some of the characters. To make this point short, the first improvement, with that being the dialogue and the writing, will impact this one, because then we can see supporting cast members, characters being fleshed out more. Maybe we can see Misty Knight and Colleen work together. Speaking of which, number 5, crossovers. The Defenders releases in mid-August and will be the first time we see all 4 characters from Marvel's Netflix shows on one screen, which has me giggling like a Japanese schoolgirl. The end game that Marvel should be looking at is crossovers between all 4 shows. After all, Danny Rand is best friends with Luke Cage in the comic and even helps him make the Heroes for Hire group. And considering that Daredevil is fighting the Hand as well, it'd be perfect to have both Danny Rand and Matthew Murdock cross over between their respective shows in order to fight the Hand. And if Marvel and Netflix are thinking about doing the Daredevil story arcs later on, such as Born Again or Out or The Devil in Cell Block D, we could see Iron Fist don the mantle of Daredevil for a short period of time. I could go on and on about this, but we could be here all day. The point is, because the shows on Netflix are not in lockdown like the Marvel Cinematic Universe is when it comes to characters crossing over with other movies, such as Thor not getting help from the rest of the Avengers when he was fighting Malekith to, I don't know, get the reality gem, which is one of the most powerful gems in Thanos' arsenal. I'm sorry, I digress, my bad. The point is, Iron Fist, along with the other 3 shows and maybe Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., could benefit from each other, bringing in fans from the other shows to see what's up in the neighborhood of, you know, the Marvel television universe, considering the fact that at this point, the Marvel television universe is what is helping lock in and adapt and expand on the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But that's a topic for another time. And that's my list. Thank you guys for checking out the video. If you have any suggestions on what Season 2 of Iron Fist should improve on, leave them in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, share, and subscribe to the channel, as well as hitting the bell to be notified for new videos. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter and Twitch for live movie reviews and playthroughs. Also, be sure to follow Rangers Live Chat on Twitter and subscribe to their YouTube. My name is Reckless Fox, and as always, peace out, bless up, and keep on wrecking things $20 or less. Deuces!